The resolute propagandist abdicates leadership. This chapter is about the misfortunes of Rizal in Madrid from 1890 to 1891 that led to the abdication of his leadership in the propaganda movement. Upon knowing the loss of his family's case against the Dominican friars, Rizal went to Madrid early in August 1890 to oversee the handling of the case. His way of seeking justice for his family and the farmers of Calamba worked through the assistance of the Asociación Hispano-Filipina. Moreover, Rizal used the liberal newspaper in Madrid to discuss the grievances of his family as well as the farmers. He told the injustices committed by Governor General Valenciano Weyler and the Dominicans to Señor Fabie, the Minister of Colonies, as well as the former liberal statesmen of Madrid through the help of Marcelo H. del Pilar and Dominador Gomez. Unfortunately, it turned out to be pointless. When Blumentritt learned Rizal's dilemma, he persuaded Rizal to bring the case to the Queen Regent of Spain. Considering the suggestion of Blumentritt, Rizal was only faced with the problem of how an audience can be sought considering that he had neither financial logistics for the purpose nor influential friends in Madrid who had access to the Queen. Rizal and his friends' efforts for seeking justice ended up in failure. Rizal still had not yet recovered from the failure of seeking justice for his family and the farmers, learned the death of his friend Jose Maria Panganiban. He wrote a eulogy for Jose Maria Panganiban to praise him for his extraordinary talent, intelligence, and industry, considering him as a loss for the country. Later of August 1890, Rizal attended a social gathering of Filipino expatriates in Madrid, wherein one of the practices of the Filipinos when they gather was to offer wine to those who were present as part of the fun. Unfortunately, Antonio Luna was intoxicated and started blaming Rizal for his failure to win Nelly Bausted's heart. Rizal's explanation that he had nothing to do with his failure did not mollify Luna. The tension got hotter when Luna started uttering nasty comments about Nelly, which irritated Rizal since he has high regard for women. Because of this, Rizal challenged Luna to a duel. Those who had witnessed tried to calm both of them because duel can cause serious repercussion to their struggle in Spain. When Luna was no longer intoxicated, he asked Rizal for an apology, which he accepted and forgot what happened. Wenceslao Retana, being a press agent of the friars, published an article in an anti-Filipino newspaper called La Epoca in Madrid, which insulted Rizal. The article that insulted Rizal was about the ejection of his family and relatives from the lands they were tilling, for they had failed to pay the annual rent to the Dominican friars. Because of this, he challenged Retana to a duel in order to justify the name and reputation of his family. Retana, however, did not accept the challenge because he knew that Rizal was an expert in both sword and pistol. Instead, he retracted the published article as an apology to Rizal and his family. In addition to the misfortunes he suffered in Madrid, Rizal received a letter from Leonor Rivera informing him that she will be married to an Englishman who was chosen for her by her mother. It took several weeks before he finally told Blumentritt about his brokenheartedness. Blumentritt tried to console Rizal by making him realize that Leonor Rivera was not the one for him and that he had a nobler object of love. This object of love was none other than his motherland. As an undisputed leader of the expatriates in Europe and the recognized leader of the propagandists, Rizal attempted to inspire his fellow reformers with his brand of idealism. Rizal believed that in order to gain the respect of the Spain and the government, they must demonstrate a high sense of morality and dignity as well as the willingness to sacrifice for their country. However, his fellow reformers did not accept it and indulged themselves to drinking, gambling, and became preoccupied with women. They felt that Rizal was intruding on their private lives as individuals and started shying away from Rizal. Because of this, some of them shifted their loyalty to Marcelo H. del Pilar. Del Pilar was the only rival of Rizal for leadership in the propaganda movement. Since Del Pilar is a perfect example of a modern politician, lawyer, journalist, and a civic leader, his beliefs and methods were modern. Due to different political views, a meeting was held on January 1, 1891 to settle the differences between the two and bolster the campaign for reforms when Rizal objected the editorial policy of Del Pilar that the La Solidaridad has to be run as a business. The meeting was attended by 90 Filipino expatriates in Madrid who agreed to resolve this by electing a responsable who will direct the affairs of the Filipino community as well as the editorial policy of De La Solidaridad. Del Pilar opposed the idea of having a responsable to control De La Solidaridad as it was a private venture, but agreed to publish articles expressing the aspirations and demands of the Filipino people. In the election for responsable, Filipino expatriates were divided into two, the Pilaristas and the Rizalistas. Rizal walked out because he was annoyed on the result of having five inconclusive ballots. Mariano Ponce was directed by Del Pilar to convince the Pilaristas to vote for Rizal to prevent further division of the Filipino community. When Rizal was finally elected, he did not accept the position because for him it was an insult for his part. Rizal wanted his leadership to be accepted based on his merits and readiness to serve and not expect any opposition from his fellow reformists in Madrid. For him, it will be a struggle to lead the Filipino community if there is an opposition and it will be more disunited. Due to bitterness in Madrid, Rizal left the place for good and Del Pilar took over the position of responsable. When the rivalry reached Manila, Juan Sinueta was ordered to reconcile Rizal and Del Pilar. Del Pilar convinced Rizal to reconsider the position before leaving the Madrid. But then, Rizal again did not accept it. Rizal soon left Madrid and went to Biarritz. When he arrived in Biarritz in February 1891, Rizal stayed with the Bausted. Due to his loss of Leonor Rivera, Rizal became attracted to Nelly Bausted. For him, Nelly is an epitome of a real Filipina which is virtuous, intelligent, and full of life. Rizal told his friends about his intention of marrying Nelly. When Antonio Luna learned about this, he convinced Rizal to push through with it. He succeeded to win Nelly's heart, but their love affair failed. It is because Rizal did not give up his Catholic faith in exchange for the love of Nelly, who was a devoted Protestant, and he was not acceptable to Nelly's mother. He was not accepted by her mother due to his financial status and the dangers he was facing as an enemy of the friars. They parted ways as good friends. However, Rizal completed his manuscript in El Filibusterismo in this series.